because money, in the end, exists only in the imagination of human beings.
Hey guys, Rafi here from the End Game Investor, and today I want to talk about this psychopath from the World Economic Forum, Jewish guy named Yuval Noah Harari. They may have seen clips about him, about how he wants to hack the human genome and turn people into some kind of computers and give stupid people video games and drugs so they stay out of the way of society. But I want to assure you all that this guy is a complete clown. And I'm going to comment on his commentary, I think 2 days ago on CNBC, about monetary policy and what he thinks about the dollar system. The truth is, while we may worry about the World Economic Forum's plans for world domination, there is a reason why I'm a Pinky in the Brain fan, because all plots to dominate the world fail. And at bottom, Pinky and the Brain were both idiots. And so is this guy. As powerful as they are, they have such deep hubris and such disdain for regular everyday people that there is no way they can conquer the world on false premises that they believe in that aren't even real. What you have to keep in mind is reality is not on their side. Nobody ever successfully conquers the world. It is impossible. So let these people believe in the falsities they believe in, and I'll explain exactly what that is, at least regards the monetary system. And they will fail and they will fall because they do not realize that the foundation that they believe is so strong is really only based on the trust of the public, which is rapidly deteriorating. Now, first of all, I want to explain this guy's name. He has a Hebrew name, Yuval Noah Harari. So the word Yuval is the same as the word Yovel. And Yovel is transliterated, there's no translation in English, but Yovel, transliterated in English, is Jubilee. And Jubilee, if you're familiar with the Torah at all, or the Bible, Jubilee is the 50-year debt reset. So this guy's first name is Reset. His second name, Noach. Noach is Noah. Noach in the flood. Noah was the man that God chose to accomplish the first reset. And so this guy's name is really Reset Harari. I don't think that's a coincidence. Now I want to show you one verse from the Torah that puts his names together. In what context? I find this very interesting. We got Yuval Noah Harari. So this verse is, I think, is the only one in the Torah, only one in the Bible that has the words Noach and Harari in the same verse. It says in Hebrew, "Vayisam shalo vayomar min Aram yancheni Noach yancheni Balak melech Moav maharei kedem lecha ara li Yaakov lecha zo'ama Yisrael." So in English, it says he took up his theme. It's talking about Bilam. Bilam was the magic guy that the king of Moab hired to curse the Israelites in the desert. So Balak is going up and he is instead blessing the children of Israel because God kind of forced it in his mouth. Bilam says this: he took up his theme and said, "From Aram has Balak brought me, Moab's king from the hills of the east. Come, curse me, Jacob. Come, tell Israel's doom." So, min Aram yancheni, meaning yancheni means he placed me. That's from the word Noach. Noach means rest or place or at rest. Balak melech Moav hamaharei kedem, from the mountains of Kedem. So you have Noach and Harari here. And what is Noach Harari doing? Think about this. What is the real context of this verse, this Noach Harari verse? It is Bilam who tried to curse the Israelites, but instead God forces a blessing into his mouth. It is Bilam being the ultimate tool. Noach Harari being the ultimate tool, because what is he trying to bring about? The reset. Reset Harari is trying to bring about the reset. But he understands nothing about money. He doesn't understand that he's a tool of God, and the curse that he is trying to unleash on the world will end up being a blessing. He will help bring the end game, the end of all fiat currencies. Let him do what he wants to do. This guy is a complete clown who understands nothing, and you have nothing to fear from him. I'm going to play now part of an interview from CNBC where a nasal, annoying sounding guy, with a stick up his ass, it seems, is asking him a question, basically, is the world going back on a gold standard? Except he takes a minute to ask that simple question. in convoluted, circuitous language.
Professor, one of the consequences of the sanctions that have been imposed by Washington and Europe has been a perceived acceleration towards a global commodity-focused Bretton Woods 3, something that replaces the previous monetary system and structure that has been in place ultimately since Bretton Woods 2, and largely has been focused on a dollar-based system with the structure of the treasury market as a guarantor, if you like. The seizing of Russian assets and reserves overseas has thrown up questions about the use of the dollar system as a weapon. Do you think that that has fundamentally damaged the system we've operated under in the global economy since Bretton Woods 2? And should we be thinking about Bretton Woods 3, which is much more gold and commodity focused?
Okay,
So it took him a whole minute to get to the point. His point was the United States stole a bunch of money from Russia by just canceling its reserves for the dollar-based system. Is that damaging to international trust? And will we return to a gold standard because of this? And so this is what Yuval Noah Harari answers. And it's about 40 seconds of complete bullshit that makes absolutely no logical sense. I can't even make out a coherent thought in this introduction.
Oh, it depends who we are. I mean, from some perspective, I think that what we've seen is actually the system working well. That you cannot divorce finance from the rest of human reality. It shouldn't work as a completely separate system. It never works as a completely separate system. There is always, the financial system is based ultimately on human values. It's based ultimately on human institutions. Anybody who fantasizes that you can have a purely monetary system, there is no such thing. So I don't think that we should dream about a pure financial system which operates in complete independence for what's happening to human beings.
What? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What in the hell was that all about?
What would that even mean theoretically? A monetary system that acts outside of human values? So what, you have people trading things, and then a monetary system that isn't connected to it is just people like passing around finances that have nothing to do with goods. What is he even saying? How does any of that jabber answer anything that the questioner said? What is a purely monetary system that acts separately from human existence? What does that even mean? What is he saying? He's not saying anything. He's trying to sound sophisticated so idiots can go, oh, well, yeah, of course you can't have a purely monetary system that functions independently of human. What is that? What does that even mean? He might as well be speaking gibberish, but he does get to a single coherent point. And this, I think he actually believes. And this is why we need not fear these people, because they are a bunch of clowns.
Because money, in the end, exists only in the imagination of human beings. It's not, a banana that you can eat.
Oh, bananas. I need bananas.
Go banana!
This is Harari's central point, and it is completely and utterly wrong. It does not comport with reality. It is a fantasy. It is his own fantasy of authoritarian Eden, where everybody is his slave.
It has no value in itself. It's just a story that we tell ourselves, and we need institutions to enforce this story, to enforce, for instance, contracts. And these institutions are human institutions. People inhabit them. They need to eat. They need sewage systems.
Right, yeah. People need to eat, and they need sewage systems, which means that nobody ate food or took a crap before fiat currencies were invented by governments, right? So therefore, the only way that people can eat or take craps is if they believe in my story about what money is. So at least that is a coherent point. It makes sense. I can understand what's coming out of his mouth, except what he's saying is completely false. How he imagines it is that before there were governments to organize markets, it was complete chaos and everything was tohu vavohu. like in the first verses of Genesis. It was a big mishmash. And then God created government to give people money so they could organize their transactions, and then everything was fine. Money exists only in the imagination of human beings, and therefore you need government to organize this imagination so people can get along, right? And that's why government saves everything. No, that's not the reality. Money is simply the most liquid good that can be traded for other things. And that good happens to be gold. Money is not in the imagination of people. People value dollars because they are gold substitutes. That is how the dollar was born. There has never, ever been a money that wasn't first indexed to something else in the past. And how it began was with gold. And then what happened historically, governments came in and monopolized the right to coin gold because they wanted a monopoly over that, as like they want a monopoly over everything. And then they monopolized the right to create gold substitutes or receipts for this gold so they could print them and buy stuff for themselves and steal value from other people. It's all theft. And when the people figure this out, they will attack the gold substitutes of all governments, and there will be hyperinflation in all of their currencies, and they will be worthless. If Yuval Noah Harari's theory was correct, there would never be hyperinflation. But there always is with unbacked currencies, because eventually the gold value that is remaining in these currencies becomes erased because they have inflated the supply so much that it is now valueless. If people think that idiots like this can take over the world, it's like saying he has a theory of gravity, right? And let's say he thinks that gravity is produced by invisible spinning elephants that have a weakness to broccoli. So his plan on taking over the world is to shoot a bunch of broccoli into space to make these elephants fall asleep so that gravity comes under his control and he takes over the planet.
By using the infundibulator to deplete hydrogen and promote gravitational collapse, we will produce a magnetic charge from the center of the Earth so strong that every person who has loose change in their pockets will be magnetically drawn to the ground and stuck there.
What if they take off their pants?
Then we'll have to take over the world quickly.
Okay, well, it's a great theory, but it's wrong. You can't take over the world like that. Just like you cannot take over the world assuming that money is a story in the imaginations of people, because it isn't. Money is based on gold. Even money now, it all goes into the past by the regression principle into the past. That's how currencies were born. And when the gold value of all currencies goes to zero because of hyperinflation, Yuval Noah Harari will lose everything. And all of his fantasies of world domination will go to nothing. What I want to assure people is that, yes, these people are diabolical. They have certain kind of intelligence, but they have a serious blind spot because they do not understand reality. There is a reason why nobody has ever succeeded in taking over the world. There is a reason why Brain never succeeded in taking over the world, because he always allies with Pinky, who's a moron. These people in the end do not understand reality, and you cannot take over the world even if you understand reality, because reality prevents that from ever happening. As I think Charlie Chaplin said in his dictator speech, as long as men die, liberty will never perish. These people are not gods, they are clowns, and they will fall. And when they do, we will have to rebuild, and hopefully we will do it wisely. That is why I urge everyone to stack gold and silver now wisely, so that in the end, when the hyperinflation, the end game happens and all of these clowns' currencies are worthless, the real resources will be in the hands of those who believe in human liberty, individuality, and freedom, and get these idiotic clowns off the stage. This is Rafi of the Endgame Investor. If you want to support me and sign up for a 2-week free trial of the Endgame Investor at the link in the description below, or you can become my patron on Patreon, where you will get a weekly biblical commentary on monetary policy and economic topics. Of course, from a libertarian Austrian school economics perspective. Don't fear the Reaper. Don't fear Klaus Schwab. Don't fear Yuval Noah Harari and all the other clowns in his circle. These people will disappear and they will turn to nothing. They'll be remembered as just another group of tyrants, stupid, idiotic clowns that tried to take over the world and, like Pinky and the Brain, failed again.
To prove their mousy worth, they'll overthrow the earth. They're dinky, they're pinky, and the brain. Narf!